Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a substance that's so common we pretty much ignore it, but it's so powerful that life itself hangs in the balance. We're talking about water. And it turns out, all of its incredible powers come from one surprisingly simple place. Yup, you heard that right. The key to understanding, well, everything, from our planet's climate to the chemistry inside our own bodies, it all starts with a shape that looks just like this. So how on earth does a simple cartoon shape unleash so much power? Let's get into it. Okay, so it all begins right here, with the basic building block, a single molecule of water. It really is this simple. You've got one big oxygen atom, that's the head, and it's connected to two smaller hydrogen atoms, the ears. But look closely, they aren't in a straight line. They make this bent V shape. And that specific angle, that Mickey Mouse structure, it's not just a cute little memory trick. It's the starting point for every single secret we're about to uncover. So what's the first secret that this little bent shape creates? Well, this is basically the source code for all of water's amazing abilities. So inside this molecule, something really interesting is happening. That big oxygen atom in the middle, it's a little bit greedy. It's a huge fan of electrons, and it's constantly pulling the electrons from the two hydrogen atoms a little closer to itself. This little tug of war creates an imbalance of electrical charge. It means the oxygen side of the molecule ends up slightly negative, and the hydrogen sides end up slightly positive. There's a name for this property. It's called polarity. And you could think of it as water's first and most important superpower. And here's the big takeaway. Because of this polarity, every single water molecule out there acts just like a tiny magnet. It's got a positive end and a negative end. Now, remember that idea, the tiny magnet. It's the key to absolutely everything that comes next. So, if one molecule is a tiny little magnet, what do you think happens when you get trillions of them all sloshing around together? Well, they do exactly what all magnets do. Opposites attract. The positive end of one water molecule gets drawn to the negative end of another one. The slightly positive hydrogen ear on one molecule forms this weak little attraction, kind of like a handshake, with the slightly negative oxygen head of its neighbor. And this special handshake has a name. It's called a hydrogen bond. So you don't just end up with a chaotic soup of molecules. You get this huge interconnected network of friendships. And even though a single hydrogen bond is pretty weak, when you have millions and millions of them, they create this incredibly strong connected force. This network is what gives water all of its famous superpowers. All right, let's break them down. This friendship network is directly responsible for 4 incredible abilities that literally make life on our planet possible. First up, water is the ultimate social butterfly. Because it's polar, we often call it the universal solvent. Why? Because it is just so good at dissolving other things. Here's how it works. Say you drop something like salt or sugar into water. The tiny water magnets just swarm it. Their positive ends grab onto the salt's negative bits, and their negative ends grab the positive bits, and they literally just pull the whole crystal apart. And this isn't just a cool party trick. It's exactly how your blood uses water to carry life-saving nutrients all through your body. All right, superpower number 2. Because of that friendship network, water is incredibly sticky, but not sticky like honey. It's sticky to itself. All of those hydrogen bonds are constantly pulling the water molecules inward towards each other. This is a property we call cohesion. And right at the surface, this inward pull is so strong that it creates this kind of invisible skin. We call that surface tension. It's the reason tiny insects can literally walk on water, and it's how water can defy gravity to climb all the way up the roots of the tallest trees. Superpower number 3 is that water is just amazing at keeping its cool. It has what scientists call a really high heat capacity. Just think about it for a second. To make water hotter, you first have to use a ton of energy just to break up that network of friendships, all those little hydrogen bonds. This means water can absorb a huge amount of heat energy without its own temperature flying up. And this is so important. It's why our bodies, which are mostly water, can stay at a nice, stable temperature. And it's why the Earth's oceans act like a giant thermometer,
regulating the climate for the entire planet.
Okay, this last one. This might be the most important one, and it's definitely the most bizarre. Water is just plain weird when it freezes.
Think about it. Pretty much every other liquid on this planet gets denser and shrinks when it freezes. It turns into a solid and it sinks. Simple enough. But not water. Oh no. Water does the exact opposite. It expands, becomes less dense, and it floats.
So why on earth does it do that? You guessed it, it's those hydrogen bonds again. As water gets colder, the bonds don't just collapse, they lock all the molecules into place, forming this rigid, open crystal structure. And this crystal grid has more empty space in it than liquid water does. So because it takes up more space with the same amount of stuff, ice is less dense. This is why ice floats. And that floating layer of ice acts like an insulating blanket on lakes and oceans, protecting all the life swimming around below. Without this one weird quirk, our oceans would have frozen solid from the bottom up eons ago.
All right, let's put it all together. Let's connect all the dots and reveal the grand, unified secret of water. It's really a beautiful, logical chain of events. It all starts with that simple, bent Mickey Mouse shape. That shape creates polarity, the tiny magnet. That polarity allows for hydrogen bonds, the friendship network. And that network, in turn, is the direct source of all 4 of water's life-giving superpowers. Its power to dissolve nutrients, to climb trees, to regulate temperature, and to protect all aquatic life by floating when it freezes. So what's the real takeaway here? It's that the most profound, powerful forces in the universe can come from the absolute simplest designs. The very possibility of life on this planet is written into the geometry of a single simple molecule. So the next time you pour yourself a glass of water, just pause for a second. You're not just quenching your thirst. You're holding a glass of pure, life-sustaining magic. It really makes you wonder, what other simple shapes are out there, just waiting to change the world?